Yes. Good day. How are you feeling out there? It's a beautiful, smooth Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles. As we get into the groove. Can you hear the music? Let me know if you can hear my voice. You can hear my music, and let me know if you're here live. Feeling the groove. Let the music groove you. Open up your heart, open up your minds. As we travel into this new time, this new space. Welcome. We'll be with you in just a few. Just groove with the music. The medicine music. This track is called You. A-E-I-O-U. It's about you. This is from the new Medicine Music Collective track that is part of the soundtrack of the book, What's Eating You? Do you feel the music? Do you feel the love and the harmony? Yes, this is a
track that combines elements of jazz, elements of R&B, healing and high vibrational music, all tuned to the frequencies of 432, which is the natural frequency that helps bring you home and ground every part of your spirit, your mind, and it helps to regulate your nervous system. In 1999, I penned this term medicine music, and since then I've been creating these tracks, and my highest choice is that you can feel it, you can hear it, you are the lover within you. We'll be with you in just a few minutes. Go ahead and get yourself centered as we begin this masterclass, this Do Have masterclass, along with Dawn Osborne and this guy they call Doctah B, Sirius. Are you ready? Yes, yes, yes. Whew. That's a deep groove. I see Dawn Osborne in the green room. We're about to bring her on in just a second. Get your pencils, your pens, and your thinking cap on.
Good day.
Whew. That groove is so deep.
It is. It is.
What was I on when I created that one? That wasn't a microdose song. That was just a universal vibe. Good day, Dawn. How are you?
Good day. I am excellent today. I am excellent. We are being, doing, and having.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's good to see you. It's good to see everyone. Welcome to the Do Have live stream here at elevationtime.com. So many things happening, so many things to talk about. And there's a bunch of things. There's actually more things to not talk about than that word not than there is to talk about, you know? So welcome, everyone. We'd like to know who's here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, let us know you're here for the first time and how you found out about this and where are you? And if you're here for the second or third or fourth or 50th time, let us know you're here, where you're at, where you're coming from, and who are you? Much love to everyone around the world, those who are online, and going to send out message of peace and harmony and goodness to all those who are going through challenges right now, because there's a lot. So, Dawn, what's going on?
You know, I am still floating from our Mind Your Business, Business Your Mind masterclass.
Yes.
It was amazing, an amazing experience. And so I have been just reveling in what opportunity is created when we collectively come together.
Who here in the chat was at the uh, class that we just did? Mind your business, business your mind. Who was here? Who was in the class? Please put it in the chat and let us know how you liked it, because it was amazing. And what we're creating is the next version of that, which is going to be, even more expansive, because this one was great. I'm still high off the knowledge. I learned so much from Dawn Osborne just in the class. I was in the class more of a student than I was, a co-host or a speaker, but that's good when you have people who can actually teach, you know, uh, at that level. So thank you very much, Dawn, for joining us at this time, this year. Let me fix my speakers and my microphones and things. Things are, yeah. Have you heard about this? The sunspots that are hitting right now. They got a sunstorm going on.
No, share with us about that.
So there's these storms that happen, or these coronas that burst out of the sun every once in a while. And that energy is electromagnetic energy that hits the earth and hits everything, in our solar system. But this one we're experiencing right now is one of the largest electromagnetic pulses coming from the sun that we have had in a very long time. So some folks are noticing their energy is hyped up. Some folks are feeling a little tired, a little sleepy. Some folks even feel like they may be coming down with something. They just feel a little different. And it's because of the magnetic pulse that's coming from the sun. Electronics are challenged. We've had a bunch of technical problems. And it's actually started almost a week ago, because most events don't happen in one day. They have a starting point, and then they begin to rise, and then there's a peak, and then it begins to fall off. So throughout this weekend, and maybe for the next week, we're going to be feeling the effects of these electromagnetic pulses. Some of what you're experiencing is that energy, that shift. We are sun people. We are sun beings. We are from the sun. We are star dust, and everything in our lives is based on light. And we're going to talk more about light and how light and energy has a lot to do with what we say and what we eat and who we are. That's why I say travel light, because a lot of the light that we're carrying, a lot of the energy and luggage that we're carrying may not be ours. So we got to be able to filter the light, filter the words, and also realize that there's electromagnetic energy from the sun hitting the planet right now. So don't take it personal. Just ride the wave and pivot and flow. The great words of Dawn Osborne.
Being able to be in that space to naturally just pivot and flow, and remind yourself instinctively that all you have to do is pivot. Pivoting is very powerful, right? When you find yourself kind of stuck and realize that all I have to do is pivot, there's so much power in that, because you create your momentum. You just shift. And so this concept of pivoting and flowing, if you can just grasp it and realize that you can push that reset button at any moment, it's so empowering.
I think that's the challenge, that a lot of us may not realize how much control we can gain by just staying focused and being an observer and not so focused on me and what's happening to me. We have been programmed at some point. Many of us have been programmed, not all of us, but to be victims and to feel like victims and to feel like we in no way have the power to become the CEO or the captain of our lives. But everything that's happening can be changed in some way, even if it's just a mental thing. Because some people say physically, Dr. B, I'm going through this, I have that. But mentally, you can create a whole nother world. I always think about, Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for 20 something years.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically in solitude, and he came out healthier, younger. He had more energy, and he was super vibrant, and then took over the presidency. He was a brand new person, because inside ourselves, we can create a whole world. And that's the world of imagination. The world of imagination is more real than this world that we call this world, that this reality that we've chosen to be, in control of our lives. But it's our mindset. We love, imparting knowledge that can help people move through some of these challenging times and realize that this too shall pass and this too is an illusion. Focus on what you desire. That's a lot of what the class was about. And we'll be doing another one soon for those of you who may not have been able to make it. Your mind is the first medicine. Your mind is also the first disease. And we're going to be reading today from the book, What's Eating You? Dawn, what chapter are we on now? Where are we in the book?
We are on chapter 17. We are in the midst of the chapter called Linguistic Parasites. And I believe we were on page 183. Did we go through the mimesis mutation yet?
Did we? Where did we leave off? My book is open to page 186.
Okay, so we may have gone through, okay, so we're on page 186. Where we were talking about sheeple, huh?
Yes, I think so. So we could start there. Yeah, let's start there.
Okay, I'm going to start on page 186. We're starting mid-page because and I'm going to start with each of these statements carries a vibration. So we read a whole host of statements, right? Maybe I'll read just a couple of the statements. Good things never last. That's on page 185. Good things never last. We're living in the end times. You can't change people. You can't change things. And so you can't change the system. One monkey don't stop the show. And that goes into the 100th monkey experience, and it disproves that. You can't believe anything. I believe it when I see it. You can't trust anybody. You must use AI or you'll be left behind. Each of these statements carry a vibration that either affirms limitation or unconsciously seeds fear, exhaustion, or scarcity. When repeated, they become programming codes that govern our emotional tone and biological state. We must think critically and consciously when we speak. While being aware of the toxic communication patterns of domestic sheeple exist in survival mode, blindly repeating phrases that hypnotize the herd. The linguistic mimicry is one of the most powerful tools of mass persuasion, a marketing tactic that disempowers individuals, reshapes neural pathways, creates chronic consumers, and disconnects people from their original purpose for being. Every word carries a frequency, a tone, and a molecular signature that travels through your body and the bodies of those who hear it. When you speak, you vibrate water. Your body is over 70% water, a conductor of emotion and energy. Every spoken word, thought, or affirmation literally reorganizes the geometry of the water within you. Masaru Emoto's research proved that water forms harmonious crystals when exposed to words like love and gratitude, and chaotic patterns when exposed to words like hate or fear. Your cells listen. Each thought you repeat becomes an acoustic order to our bodies. That's deep, right? Our DNA is not static. It's a liquid crystal bioantenna responding to sound, emotion, and intention. This is not a metaphor, it's physics.
And let's go back. Let's read that one again.
Our bodies are not static. It's a liquid crystal bioantenna responding to sound, emotion, and intention. This is not a metaphor, it's physics.
So if you think about that for a second, we're picking up energy. We are what we call transducers. A transducer is like a microphone or a speaker. So it changes electricity into sound, or it changes sound into electricity. We're picking up information, but we're also sending it. So we're like a radio station, right? When all of our thoughts, feelings, and sounds and emotions are radiating into the atmosphere, into the world. This is why we have to be very careful of what we say. because every word that we speak creates waves of potential, waves of electromagnetic pulses, just like the sun is sending out these pulses right now, which are electromagnetic waves of energy that are hitting the earth, and the earth is responding. The earth is vibrating based on these frequencies that are coming out and pulsing from the sun. Well, each of us has a solar plexus sun, an inner sun within us, and we are radiating these pulses of electricity into the world. So a lot of times if we're not careful of what we're saying and what we're thinking, and if we're just on automatic, then guess what? What we're receiving back sometime is a mimicked vibration or a mirror image of what we've put out there. So we got to be very careful what we say. So when we say things like, I'm sick, your cells prepare for illness, even though you may just be joking. I'm sick of this job. I'm sick of this people. You're cancel, cut, delete, and clear. When you say that, you're sending waves to your body because the body doesn't know that you mean that about someone else. Your subconscious mind has no idea that you're projecting this information to another person, because the subconscious actually is not even the subconscious mind. It's the subconscious, which is called the body mind. You know, your subconscious is not in your head. It's in your body. So when you point the finger at someone else and say something, whether it's agreeable or disagreeable, the subconscious doesn't know the difference. Our subconscious cannot perceive or conceive of anything outside of self. So if you're saying something about somebody else, then guess what? It's hitting you first. It's what you're projecting and pointing, and you're sending these cosmic rays into yourself. Everything is based on the cosmos. It's all cosmic energy. Cosmic energy isn't something spaced out there. We're in space. In fact, you know, if you look at an atom, you'll see that it's, 99% space. Everything is basically space. We're sending information into space. So monitoring carefully what we're saying, how we're saying it is important. So when a person says, I'm done, right? They may just be saying, I'm done about a situation. But the nervous system begins to shut down because you said you're done. You don't even have all your faculties online because you just turned everything off as the captain of the ship. Once you realize that you're the captain of the ship and you're the CEO and you're giving commands, not just to the universe, not just to the world around you, but to yourself. Think about it before you speak. Can we possibly learn to think 5 times before we speak? And this is a challenge even for myself. We don't have these things down perfectly. We're here sharing and learning together because sometimes we say things that we got to snatch back. And that's why we say, cancel, cut, delete, and clear.
My grandmother used to say, watch your mouth. So as you were saying that, I was thinking of, we have all these sayings and we don't necessarily know where they come from or why they are. And some of them are damning. They are not the greatest sayings. And some of them are so literal that if you just took into account that when your grandmother was telling you to watch your mouth, pay attention to the things that you say because you're speaking them into existence. She didn't know to speak it in those words, but she did tell you to watch your mouth. And it's so important that and even as I've been doing consultations with members of that people that attended the class that have requested consultations, individual consultations to help their businesses and everything afterwards, right? You find that we are reminding not just ourselves, but them to watch what they say. Because as you're creating, we're conscious co-creators and we are consistently co-creating, right? Every time we speak, you give life to something. It has vibration. Those words carry on into the ethers and create a vibrational pattern that brings things into existence, right? When you speak these words, your reticular activation system starts looking for them. So it starts creating the opportunity for more of, if you're speaking honorable or disenfranchised words, it creates more opportunity for that to be a part of your reality. Even when you're gossiping and talking about someone else, as Dr. B said, the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So it's now bringing this negativity that you're speaking about someone else into your reality, and it's showing up over and over and over again. So watch your mouth. And I said watch your mouth because that's how it was usually said by Big Mama. Watch your mouth is really important. It is very important to mind the words that are coming out of your mouth, the things that you are speaking, because you're giving them life. If you don't speak them, you're not giving life to them. And so think about the things that you desire to speak life into and choose your words carefully.
My grandmother would say, if I said something that was disrespectful or had, a little dirt on it, she would say she's going to wash my mouth out with soap and water. And she actually went, at one point, she went and got the soap. You know what I'm saying? She went and got the soap, Dawn, and was coming at me. And I had to clean this up really quickly because we have bad breath. And I don't mean the bad breath you can smell, the bad breath you can feel.
Right.
Because when you're speaking, you're breathing. You're breathing out what you're feeling. And sometimes it's coming out too fast or it's coming out dirty. It's garbage. So this washing your mouth out is about detoxing your fifth chakra. Detoxing that fifth chakra, which is your throat chakra. The throat it's got to do with transformation. That fifth chakra, that throat chakra, it's transforming information coming from the top chakras, right? It transforms those cosmic energies into physical energies. And it also transversely takes the energy that's coming up from the body, which is physical, and transforms that into cosmic energy. So it's the transformer. It's the fifth chakra. Fifth has a lot to do with refining power. Refining power, not just having power, because we all have a lot of power. Some folks have the power to be sad and depressed and to think about all the bad things that are going on. You have the power to scroll or not scroll, to watch the news or not watch the news, or to believe something and not to believe something, which means to follow blindly. A lot of things we believe in that we have no facts. We have no proof. You see? Some people say, well, like God, I don't have any proof of God. Well, look at your hand, look at your fingerprint. To me, that's proof of there's a creator. Something created this whole thing. We just can't perceive or conceive it because it's inside of us. It's everywhere, you see. And we have to be careful there was something they used to say in church about using God's name in vain. And I thought a lot about this. Well, they say God or Jesus, depending on how you believe, is the I am. So when you say I am, whatever comes behind it, right, is going to have agreeable power or disagreeable power, because you're talking from yourself into the world. So the linguistic parasite piece is huge because that's something that affects us every single day. When we begin to agree and we begin to have contracts, and we're hard, we say something quick, and and I was thinking about how, when there's a post, you quickly want to like it or not like it. Why do you need to tell the world that you like something? And is that little heart actually got to do with liking? One day we're gonna break down these symbols. But does the heart, symbol of the heart, mean you like something? What does like and love? What's all those things? What do they really mean? And what are we agreeing to? When we see the little red heart, and the heart doesn't look like that. Your heart doesn't look that way. The heart chakra is not red, it's green. But we keep agreeing, right? And we have so many agreements that we've made in our culture that keep us kind of mixed up. I'm going to ask you a question, Don. What was created first, the compass or the clock? Everybody put their thinking caps on. What was created first, the compass or the clock?
It had to be the compass giving us direction, right? I mean, and then time started.
So that means that in the beginning, it wasn't about time.
Right.
It was
It's
about
about
direction.
direction. Wow, that's deep. You know, one of the things that is in the chat, Butterfly Kiss put it in there where she asked, when family begins discussing others, how do you politely decline from engaging in conversation? And it made me look up the etymology of conversation, and it's referred broadly as one's general behavior, way of life, or a place someone lived. And over time, it shifted to being about turning together, built into the meaning of together, and um, the verse meaning to turn. So it's about turning together to discuss. And the easiest way to remove yourself from that is just not to engage in the conversation, right? Conversation is a choice. Having a conversation with someone about someone else is a choice. And we can choose not to engage, just like we can choose to engage. And so, what are you choosing would be my question. And can you just politely, respectfully not engage? You can.
And here's the deep part. When it comes up, you're with a group of people, they're speaking disagreeably or they're speaking about something that you choose not to engage with. Check out how challenging it is to in no way say something, to just be quiet and not respond, or in no way respond. That's better than saying not. In no way respond. There's something happens because you want to, you feel like the want is the desire without action, but you want to respond. You can't. It's very challenging for us to just be quiet because we're so used to speaking quickly and not checking and thinking, why do I need to say something? Because we feel like we need to prove ourselves.
Well, you can also very simply use words to remind people of the simple things that if your mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And you can say, in this conversation, as we're engaging, it just takes me back to childhood where we were taught, especially since it's family, we were all taught, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I don't feel this is nice, so I don't have anything to say. You can challenge people's integrity and accountability by just giving them the foundational basis that we were all raised with and disengage in conversation. It's really easy to state your own personal value statement without offending anyone, right? I'm not talking down on you and what you've chosen. I have just chosen to stand in a place where my integrity is intact. And I'm going to put it on, make it very simple so I'm not speaking over people's heads. I can say my silence is golden, but I can also say I'm going to engage in the simplicity of of my home training, the simplicity of my home training. And if I don't have anything nice to say, I'm not going to say anything at all. So I'm going to refrain from this conversation, or just simply excuse yourself. But you don't have to engage. Engaging is a choice.
And sometimes we feel like people are trying to force us to be involved. See, there's these beings that when I was studying and learning, I had a lot of very wise teachers come to me. I've had 13, wise teachers, and there'll be a book coming out soon about that. Each one of them taught me something. And sometimes it was really simple what they taught. But the concept of there's these beings that they drink and eat and consume disagreeable energy. They create the drama. And when we react to the drama, they drink the energy. That's their food. That is their plasma. That is what they drink. And they vibrate and put out these energies, like there's certain frequencies in music that if you play it over and over, it's going to agitate you, like the siren or like the megaphone. Those frequencies they're agitating. So when you hear a siren, You imagine that you go into alert mode, right? And you pull over or you're looking for the lights because there's an emergency. But imagine these emergency frequencies that have been being emitted for thousands of years. They create discord, people fighting, and the frequency and the volume, or what they call the amplitude of these frequencies, is stronger right now than it's been in a long time. And the reason why is because this is the year 2026, which is a gateway to 2027. And in 2027, everything changes. Now, some people say, well, they said in 1999 everything was going to change. In 2000, it did change. A lot of folks didn't feel it looked the same to them because that's the frequency that they were on. Sometimes you don't notice a shift because you're looking for something like in television, you know what I'm saying? Lights and flashing this. But we're going through a huge change right now. It's one of the biggest changes in a long time because the age is changing, the time is changing. The angle and the wobble of the earth, it's like the North Pole is no longer pointed towards the North Star, what they call Polaris. It's changing. So everything is going through this flux. And when we're able to pivot and flow and change and grow, we have to be aware of what we're saying, what we're doing, and who we're being.
That was a bar.
Realize that. You say again? It was a bar?
That was a bar.
So what we're saying is that this chapter in the book, Linguistic Parasites, is one that I've read it over and over, and I'm like, wow, this is deep. Now you might say, well, you wrote it, Dr. B. Well, it wrote me. We want to take credit for so many things individually, but there's a mass consciousness out there. We're all connected through this universal consciousness. And this was what folks were asking for. So here it is. But we get into these words because words are everything. Mm-hmm. What you're saying, and a lot of times what you're thinking is what you're saying. So changing that habit, we've got to break the parasite and the parasitic energy that other people have where they want to drag you into their disagreeable thoughts. And that's what people get excited about. You go to these family events, almost any event, and folks are talking mostly 80% about the problems. You see?
They live in chronic servitude to drama and problems.
Whew.
And so we will continue to pivot and to flow. I'm on page 187. When you say I'm sick, your cells prepare for illness. When you say I'm done, your nervous system begins to shut down. When you say I can't, your subconscious locks the door to possibility. But when you declare I am healing or I am rising, your cells light up with coherence. They start producing peptides, hormones, and electrical signals aligned with that command. Every word is a spell. That's why it's called spelling. You're either casting curses or creating cures with every breath. Words are the bridge between thought and manifestation, the invisible software that programs reality. When you change your language, you alter your frequency. When your frequency shifts, your results shift. Language can be used to create opposition or liberation, life or death. Words definitely do matter. From emoji to AI. Writing this book challenged me. I was labeled dyslexic as a child. Letters used to dance off pages. I'm an auditory kinesthetic learner. Words live in rhythm and movement for me. At one point, I asked AI to polish a section. Seconds later, it looked sharp. But when I ran a plagiarism scan, the tool admitted that it had copied from multiple sources. And here's the twist. It told me I couldn't legally own its words. That was a moment I saw how easily the machine mimics without soul. The new mantra, use AI or be left behind. But as Nipsey Hussle said, blind competition kills creativity. But when we chase the algorithm, we feed the parasite. When we chase the algorithm, we feed the parasite. How many algorithms do you chase on a daily basis using social media? That's crazy. Think about that. When you chase the algorithm, we feed the parasite. Very deep. We spend hours staring into glowing rectangles, letting the devices sculpt our minds. Texting reduces communication to fragments. Then came emojis, of round yellow faces that flatten real emotions. Symbols become shortcuts for feelings we no longer articulate. Yellow itself carries vibration, joy, intellect, but also cautioning and cowardice. The color of the solar plex chakra, our willpower center, what the energy wheel spins weekly. We feel stuck, fearful, and ashamed. Even our icons reveal imbalance. Each symbol carries an agreement, a micro spelling training the collective mind. Slowly, we're losing nuance and authenticity, like cattle flattened for slaughter or fattened for slaughter. You, as the alien Faraday says in The Man Who Fell to Earth, the misperception regarding communication on this planet is an illusion is that it has taken place. The misperception regarding communication on this planet is the illusion that it has taken place. Screens emit frequencies that alter brain chemistry. Blue light damages retinas, suppresses melatonin, and keeps the mind restless for hours. It accelerates aging, anxiety, insomnia, and even cancer. I use blue light filters, grayscale mode, and EMF harmonizing devices from improveyourlife.us. Tell them Dr. B sent you. These don't block radiation, they shift frequency. Dr. B, you want to talk more about that?
You know, they have these things that you put in your phone. They say they block radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went on a deep dive and I just tested a lot of them, and they didn't do that.
Mm.
But what was happening was the symbol or the idea of it caused your mind to begin to block some of the radiation. The belief that this thing is doing it creates a vibration in you that actually is doing it. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of products don't actually do what they say they do. They send a message to your brain because of your belief, and you do it. We do have the power to block certain levels of radiation if we were able to tap into that part of ourselves. So my challenge was, if these things that we're putting in our phones and they're supposed to block radiation, how does the phone work?
Right.
If it was truly blocking radiation like a Faraday cage or like copper, if you put your phone in copper, you don't get a signal, you won't get a call. If you put your phone in a Faraday cage, there'll be no signal. It is blocking all radiation so that the phone, which works through radiation, is not going to receive or send a call. So I met a man who we work with now, who's from Germany, who created these devices that they don't block radiation, they change the frequency, because there's life-giving radiation and there's life-reducing or life-taking radiation. All we've got to do is change the frequency. When we change the frequency of radiation, it changes the goal or the energy or the frequency. When we change the frequency of what we say and how we say it, it changes the words, it changes the energy, it changes the spell. Much love.
Thank you.
So we have devices. There's one on my computer, there's one in the phone, there's one in the building. All of our offices have them, where it is changing the frequency of radiation. And I even have one on my keychain that works to change the frequency of radiation in automobiles, especially if you're driving an electric car. I'm careful about talking about this electric car because people get upset because they bought them. The government gave them money, or somebody gave them money to buy this electric car. It's really deep. Never in the history have they paid you to buy something like that. What is the catch? What's up with the electric car? What's happening with the electromagnetic frequencies that this car is emitting while you sit on the sum of 100 cell phones? Why is this a big push? Please do some research on it. Please do research for yourself. I have to be careful because, there are beings out there that, are listening. We as people have to change the frequency of what we're saying. We can't block everything, but we can change the frequency. So these devices that they're going to come from, you can go to improveyourlife.us, improveyourlife.us. He's got devices that change the frequency of all kinds of devices, EMFs, there's so many frequencies, microwaves, there's 5G, 4G, there's 6G now too. And all of them have an effect, but you can change the frequency of those using these devices. If you go there, make sure you say that Doctah B sent you. That's improveyourlife.us. In fact, we're going to have him on soon, the man who makes these, and he's going to tell his whole story of how he came up with these frequencies, that these devices that change frequency, and they work very, very, very well. So we'll get into that at a later date. But everything is frequency. Our words are frequency, and frequency just means how frequently something happens, how frequently a wave goes from 0 up to a plus, and then it goes to the negative side and goes back to 0. So that has to do with frequency, and words are frequency. Actions are frequency. Everything we do has to do with frequency. Dawn, are you there?
I am here, but my device is doing whatever it would like. Can you hear me?
I told you about those sunspots.
Yeah.
You're all blacked out.
Well,
you're in the black right now.
I'm in a phase of endarkenment, and I will be enlightened. Right? Because endarkenment is a real thing. And when we were speaking of Nelson Mandela, and I was thinking of the phase that he was in, that was complete endarkenment, and he came out fully enlightened.
Yeah.
And we go into those phases of endarkenment, and we come out enlightened.
Yes. And that's the place we'd like to go. This whole enlightenment and light is where the power is, and we need to see things. We think that evil and disagreeable things happen at night. Some of the most challenging things happen right when the sun is out, when the light is on. But we've become afraid of the dark. Well, a lot of us have been programmed. Notice I keep saying that when we say, and let me touch on this really quickly. When we say we do something or they do something, that is not an actual fact. We don't know what people do. You think you know people. So when we say women are this way, men are that way, white people are this way, black people are this way, indigenous Americans are this way, Asians are that way. None of it is true, because we're all totally different, unique beings. And when we group things together, we create distortion in our field. You're creating distortion in your field by throwing words out and projecting ideas that may not be factual. When we say we do something, that's not true. That's you. Maybe you and your family and the few people that you know, but you don't really know that many people. And you definitely don't know what other people think. We're not good mind readers, We think we know what other people think. And this guy told me one day, he says, Doctah B, I bet you think that I think that you think. And I'm like, whoa, what does this even mean? I bet, first of all, it's a gamble. You think that I think. And I was talking to a guy about 2 weeks ago. I went to this event that I spoke at, and the word was that I didn't like this guy. I haven't seen this guy in maybe 10 years. And I saw him. And he was, acting really different with me. And I said, hey, man. He says, what's happening, Doc? I said, I heard there's a rumor going on. Yeah. I heard, the word is out. You don't like me. I says, huh? Where'd you get this from? Well, they say it, blah, 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 blah. In the conscious community, it's really known that you don't like me. I said, first of all, I don't know if I'm technically part of the conscious community, because I'm not sure what that is, because everybody's conscious. So you got to be very, very careful with these words. Once again, language is like a parasite unless you use it correctly. But I said, man, you should call me. Did you ever call me and ask me, did I have a liking for you? I had a problem with you? Well, no. Well, this is a rumor. How many of you are believing in rumors out there? How many of you are just going along with something because somebody online said it or somebody who wrote a book about it? Check everything, even with Dr. B's book. Go do the research and see if this works for you. Otherwise, you get caught up. Dawn, are you going to read in the dark?
I'm going to read in the dark.
Dawn is in the dark room. That's where everything happens, in the dark room. Everything is created in the dark.
Yes, absolutely. We're drowning in data, yet starving for wisdom. This is artificial ignorance, knowing everything and understanding nothing. The flood of input disconnects us from the authentic self. We built electronic superbugs that drain life force, turning users into self-replicating zombies.
Mm.
Hence the name cell phone, because it's both cellular and a cell. Simple remedies. Take digital fast. Use screen time to monitor usage. Power down 30 minutes before bed. Keep devices at least 6 feet away. I like to leave my device in another room.
Have you ever cut off your what do you call it? Your what's the box?
Your router.
Excuse me. My router went off during the storm once, and it was off all night. The most beautiful sleep I've had in a long time was when the router, look what they call it, a router. That's like a compass pointing you somewhere, a router. Why do they call it a router?
Because it's routing things into your atmosphere.
See? Think about it. What is in your router? You know, I sleep with copper under my mattress and my headboard. It's like there is very little radiation hitting me while I'm sleeping because I have this whole setup that I've created. And the copper, you can buy copper fabric now too. So using that, it helps to block some of that radiation coming from the router, from the phone, from the lights, the LED lights, the fluorescent lights. It's interesting that the old incandescent lights are back. We should go back to the incandescent lights because all these things are creating our cells, right, to be like a prison. And we're locked into these frequencies and these algorithms that are actually electrocuting us from the inside out. Let's go.
You know, one of the things that I have been doing since I got my drum is I have been sleeping with my drum right next to me. I will tell you, you know, we have these little devices that monitor the quality of our sleep. I have spent a higher than average amount of time in deep sleep, sleeping with my medicine drum next to me. Amazing sleep I've been receiving. But to know that in using this device that monitors my breath, my breathing, my heart rate, and all of these things, and monitors how when I go into deep sleep, that I'm getting more deep sleep sleeping with my medicine drum next to me. Imagine that.
Wow.
That medicine drum is everything. Everything. I haven't yet gotten into a place where I can truly articulate the experience as Dr. B moves to play it. But I will tell you, I played the Equinox song next to my drum, and it was like my drum took on the vibration and it just continued to vibrate. I'm having so many amazing experiences with this drum. I have created a drum journal so that I can journal all of my experiences, because as a healer working with like I have clients that I cannot wait to have them experience the vibration and frequency of the drum. When I'm And I'm going, my research mind went on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, if we do this, we can do this. And if we do this, we can do this. So now I'm looking at writing a grant to fund the research that will take place with the drum, because there's so many elements of power and that need to be captured, right? Because the medicine drum truly is medicine. My sleep has improved. My creativity, in terms of even thinking about writing this grant to capture, to allow us to capture all of the research that we will be initiating with the drum. It's just, and I haven't even really had I haven't had that many doses of my Platinum Life mixture with focus and passion while experiencing the drum, because I'm just trying to experience the drum in the fullness of the drum. That medicine drum creates shift. It creates, I don't have to think of pivoting. It naturally is creating the opportunity for pivot and flow. It, as I embody the experience, and that's what I get to do as a writer, as a grant writer, as a writer, I take on and embody that which I'm getting ready to write about. So if I'm writing about your organization, your business, your idea, your concept, I must embody it in order to allow my words to take to paper to create the right story. I listen to your story, and then I take and I create that story. Whether I'm writing your bio, right? Like when I think I wrote your bio, Dr. B, right?
You've written all my bios.
when I take that on, I embody that so that I can allow the words to flow through me and hit paper to effortlessly describe a person, a place, or a thing. And so the drum is expounding that. It's opening up that to an even higher level. And I tell you, my concept of eagling up, I am going to be spending a week on Eagle Beach in Aruba and didn't know it. Everything is just coming together in such a magical way.
And it's because you're able to imagine the best. We get to imagine the best or the worst. Think about how powerful the word imagination is. Just take it all apart and put it back together, and you'll see how many words are in the word imagination. That's why even Einstein, it's one of the things that he proclaimed that, imagination was more powerful than science, because you had to, in order to have science, you had to have imagination first. So there is a workshop I did many years ago. What's it called? The right use of imagination. I think it's still online. The right use of imagination is huge, but we imagine things based on what we put up on the desktop. So Dawn imagined sleeping with the drum. And how many of you even know what we're talking about when we're talking about the drum? So I don't know if everybody is clear, but I created this instrument called the Medicine Drum 432. And the drum is made of two very special sacred woods from sacred trees, where every part of these two trees have been used for medicine, for meditation, for spiritual purposes, for, to create clarity. The vibration of these two woods is amazing. And one of them is called Paduk. And Paduk is a tree that grows in sandy soil. So it picks up silica from the soil. And silica is what's in sand that they also make glass from. It's a crystal. So this tree, when it brings in water, when it takes up water, it's taking up the silica. Well, silica is a crystal that has a very special vibration. Just imagine, the tree is considered a glass tree or a crystal tree. Look it up. It's called Paduk. And even the way it sounds when wind blows, they say it sounds like it's singing. So I chose that wood to make the surface area, the playing area of the drum, out of that. The outside of the drum is made of another sacred wood called tiama. Tiama is another sacred tree, and that tree is also used for medicine. It's used for meditation in another part of Africa, and it vibrates. It has a very earthy, warm frequency. And folks who they buy furniture made from this plant, from this tree, because the furniture that you use in your home is vibrating. Everything in your home is vibrational. It is singing. So a lot of times we want to get cheap stuff because we sometimes might not be able to spend. Our budget may not be high enough, or we don't desire to spend as much. We want stuff cheap and on sale and get coupons and all that. My cousin won't buy anything without coupons. If you go to the store with him, you're going to be in line for a long time because he's digging out these coupons, and I think he's snapped. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. But we want things cheap and we want things at a discount. But if you're always searching for the discount, subconsciously you're saying that to yourself. So you're discounting yourself. You don't feel like wealth, and you'd like to be wealthy, but we have habits and words and thoughts that we use that become like parasites. You see? So this drum, just by having it in your room, it's vibrating the feeling of wealth, the feeling of love and harmony. It helps to regulate the nervous system just by the solar winds or the cosmic winds of the environment of the room flow through the drum. It's making sound no matter what. But when you play it, it has the chakra notes. It's tuned to 432, and it plays you and you play it. You don't have to be a musician. All you need to do is have love for yourself and put your focus, your goal, as you play the drum. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to play a little bit of the drum, and then we'll go back to reading. Would that be okay, Dawn?
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking maybe you should log out and log back in, because just looking at the
I'll log out.
Hearing your voice like this is just not seeing you. Is just
I'll be back.
I'm going to play the drum just a little bit. This is the medicine drum 432. Let me move my camera so that you guys can see it. There it is. So just check out the vibration and close your eyes for a minute and enjoy the drum. Each note is tuned to chakras. This note right here is note C. That note is C. That's the root chakra. That's D. That's your second chakra, your sacral chakra, your sexual chakra, your money chakra, your wealth chakra. You can just play those two notes. And that's where most people are having their challenges, in their root chakra, which has to do with their childhood, their past, and their wealth is all about the second chakra. The booklet comes with the drum, explains the chakras and the notes so that you can vibe. Dawn is back. See, it was all about the drum bringing back,
Yes.
bringing the black back into harmony.
That was
Welcome
wonderful,
back.
Dr. B. Thank you. I I tell you, and I know that there are some of our viewers that have the drum, and it is amazing to listen to. The vibration that you feel from the drum, placing your hand on it, playing the drum, having it just in your room. You feel it when it's sitting in your room and it's still. Everyone needs the drum. Balance Touch said, I need that drum. Everyone needs that drum. Dr. B has been playing the drum, and people's children will come in from the other room because they hear and experience the frequency that it emits. It is amazing. Thank you for playing it, Dr. B. And creating it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Many years. This whole journey started actually when I was about 16 of creating. I had another medicine drum that was made of metal, and it was great. It was okay. And it was challenging to get manufactured and keep, to the consistency. But now we have a company that is making these for us, and they use indigenous ways, and they're indigenous people, and the woods are not taken from live trees, only trees and branches that have fallen. So it's a beautiful thing that we're doing, and we're helping people in those areas who collect the woods for us. And we did just get a new shipment of drums, so if you'd like one, you can put in your order now at elevationtime.com. And in fact, I need to go change the quantity because we just got four more in. But I was working with a client, and they have a child who is autistic. And when I started playing the drum, the child came out of almost like a deep sleep and started dancing around to the drum. They wanted to play the drum. They grabbed the sticks. It was a whole thing. And the mama kept telling them to go back in the other room, go in the other room. I'm having a meeting. I says, no, the child is responding to the drum because the drum is it's a messenger. It's a messenger device. It's sending messages, and it opens up portals. So this is a device that goes way beyond what we call the singing bowls and all those devices and tuning forks. It's all those in one. It's a liquid crystal wood. It's the only way I can describe it, because the sound is almost the sound of water. And, our universe is water. Air is water. Our whole universe is liquidic or fluidic. Liquidic. That's a new word.
Liquidic.
It's fluidic space. So it's a traveling device. Dawn is sleeping with the drum. Some of you don't have anyone to sleep with the drum.
Oh my goodness.
If you have someone to sleep with and you play the drum together, the intimacy is going to be amazing. I've had a couple calls, and I said, is this one guy, he says, Dr. B, I'm looking to bring my love life back. And he had this long list of things. And I said, well, maybe you'd like to try the drum. He said, well, let me try it. So he got a drum, and he called me the other day. He says the intimacy is like brand new because it brings about the frequencies, right, that may be turned or twisted or what we call corrupted or distorted of those energy centers of the body, which are the glandular centers. Where the chakras are is the glands. So you can put the drum on folks. We have folks who are practitioners who are putting the drum on folks. I can't wait till Dawn does her research, and we begin to, quantify and qualify what the drum and some of the herbs can do to change frequencies. We can't wait till the mainstream does what they call human trials. They're not going to do it. So this is something that you can have yourself that will help change who we all are. And you may become a great musician and start creating songs in the studio, or not. Just have this in your home vibrating.
I think that when you say that I slept with the drum, I literally placed the drum in my bed. first night I was like, oh, you're just doing too much. I put it up on this. I have this table that I just set right next to my bed. I was like, you're putting too much. But when I placed it on my mattress and I played it, I also laid with the drum and played the drum on my own body, just to be able to have the full vibrational feel of the drum. I laid and put it on my body to feel the vibration of the drum. And I can't wait to have someone else play the drum on my body, because what you feel, the way that the drum itself vibrates, the way that the wood feels as the drum is vibrating, I'm still waiting for the words to come so that I can explain what the frequency feels like. And they're coming. It is sexcellence. Now that is sexy and excellent, but it's deeper than sexcellence, right? If you were in the master class, I gave a description of a word that I use when I'm working with my clients as I'm coaching them, and we're bringing ideas into fruition, because I am truly a dream doula. I help you birth your dreams. And so when we're birthing those dreams, we do it in sexcellence. And I say that we bring things into existence that are both sexy and excellence. And you can argue whatever you want, but sex sells. And so is it sexy? Does it make you lick your lips when you think about it? And if you can have that type of sexy excellence in the things that you do, it changes. It allows you to pivot and flow. It creates something that everybody wants to embody, right? And so in that sexcellence, if I can explain it to you in a manner that is oozing with sexcellence, then you're going to run out and say, I don't know what that is. I don't care what it costs. Whatever that is, I need 3 of those in my possession.
Someone just said organ energy. You know, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of organ energy. There's a man, Wilhelm Reich, who basically was researching this energy that he found was the life force energy around the planet. And he called it organ energy. And he created these devices that you could use to channel organ energy. And it was based on the shape and the coil of what we call melaninated people's hair. This organ energy, he made blankets and he made these devices with these boxes, and it looked like what was in them was almost like steel wool, but it's based on the way our hair grabs energy from the universe. So organ energy is the life force energy around the planet. Certain sounds, certain colors, certain fabrics, they emit this organ energy. So if you're wearing like 100% organic cotton, because of the shape of the wool, right, it is able to pull in that organ energy, that 9 ether shape. And also linen fabrics like hemp, natural fabrics like bamboo, they all are able to pull in this organ energy. But the drum also is able to amplify organ energy. That's a deep thing when you study Wilhelm Reich. Did you know that Wilhelm Reich had 90 books that the government decided to burn every one of his books, and basically he died mysteriously? Why, if this stuff they said it was foolishness that he was studying. Well, why did you have to burn his books? 90 books that could change our lives. Study Wilhelm Reich. He was actually a student of Freud, but he looked at what Freud was doing and he went on a different angle. And his thing, Wilhelm Reich's thing, is all about sex. When we started talking about the power of sex and Tantra, he began to study the ancient people, like of India, all the folks who were into love and intimacy as a way of life. And there's these people who lived in India who would never be they were never conquered, because everything they did was intimate. Their whole lives were intimate. Everything had to do with sex and love. In fact, they found temples in India. You can look them up. And all the temples had depictions of people having intimacy in all kinds of different ways, because intimacy is the power of life. And that's creativity. And that's something that a lot of us have gotten kind of, we got to be careful, because linguistic parasites, what you say about sex and what you say about love and who's a freak and who's having orgies and who's got more than one wife or more than husband, who's cheating. All of these words were created for us. They're not naturalized. So that's why we talk about the linguistic parasites when we talk about the drum, and what it's doing is creating more orgasm energy, more organ energy. It's bringing about the creativity that creates more of who you are. So the music that Doctah B is creating is all about orgasmic energy. The medicine music, herbs that create a vibration that changes things. You see, is all about sex and intersecting one energy, intersecting another energy is sexcellence. See, I slid that in there real quick, though.
Absolutely, sexcellence is a thing.
Yeah, and when you put that drum on a person, they start having certain types of. We'll just leave it at that. It's amazing. In fact, I have a client today who has asked for me to bring the drum and actually play the drum on them. Mm-hmm. They got to sign papers. We got to sign disclosure. What do you call them? NDAs? Mm-hmm. What do they call them? Because
waivers. They have to sign a waiver.
A waiver. Because once we put this drum, and the way I'm thinking and the rhythms that are also, because I'm going to do a class where we're going to be talking about the drum, how to play the drum in certain rhythms. And we're also at some point talking about doing something really big. So I don't want to put it out there right now, but Dawn and Vashti and I have an idea to really take this thing to another level. But we're all drums. We're all instruments. But our words, right? The drum, the rhythms are considered words, spells.
Right.
What we're speaking is a spell. You see? So you've got to be well grounded in what you're saying before you say it, because you're putting music out. You're putting a rhythm out. You are a drum. What are you emitting? What are you admitting? What are you agreeing to or in no way agreeing with?
So think about this, right? So what you're speaking, I was just sharing with a woman as we were talking about reprogramming her. I told her that the things that we work on, I want her to write them. Write them, pen to paper, right hand, and then pen to paper, left hand, because we want to activate them throughout. It's something when you think about the fact that in schools, they don't teach cursive writing anymore. They do not teach how to write in cursive. There's such power in writing pen to paper. But if they're removing that and every child gets a laptop and every child has a tablet, what about the element of writing? Remember when we were growing up, and I'm probably dating myself, and that's perfectly fine. But penmanship was something that you got graded on. So we had to practice our strokes and our writing and our ability to write legibly so that it could be read with ease. They don't even communicate anymore legibly. IDK and WID and emojis and all of these things that have taken away actual communication. I was reading a text message my daughter's friend sent her, and I had to ask her, what does this mean? IDK and WID and LMAFO. And can you write a sentence? Oh, it's quicker this way. I don't know what this means. I need a sentence, and better yet, here's a piece of paper and a pen. Write it out so that I can see it and actualize it, and that you can actualize it, because you're not even telling your subconscious mind what you're saying. Your subconscious mind is not reading this code and understanding what it means. So as you're writing in all these codes and you're thinking that this is wonderful, you're stripping your ability to communicate in a manner that is understandable to your body. Yes, we can use telepathy and communicate with one another, but if we can't communicate in writing, how are we going to telepathically communicate the same thing if everything is an abbreviation? What are you stripping yourself from being able to do and effectively communicate one to another? Think about it. My son and his ex-wife, we were sitting in the living room one night and they were talking. They were sitting there laughing. And I'm looking at them. They're going back and forth and they're laughing. They're sitting in the same room texting one another, laughing. What is that? Communication is key.
Abbreviations. That's deep. Put a pin in that. We are speaking, and this is deep. We're speaking in abbreviations. What is an abbreviation? It's not the whole thing. It's not the whole context. So sometimes what we're speaking is eating us, it's devouring us because of we're speaking in a broken language. And what's this? Princess says, yes, English is a language made up of multiple languages, but used out of context, hence creating confusion in modern day society. Yes, a lot of what we're saying is confusing. And we've got to really be careful where we're coming from. What are you really attempting to emit? What are you admitting? Be careful for what you're saying. Words will your words and your thoughts are the temple at which you pray. Your words and your thoughts are you at the temple asking for them to come back to you, and they will. The temple is your head. It's all coming from your head. So this is why it's important to power down these devices before bed so they aren't emitting and sending messages in your sleep. And you know they are. Right. They're now at the point with the newest phones and devices and watches, they're sending messages to you while you sleep. So you're never really sleeping. You're being programmed. Ground yourself outdoors. Walk, breathe. Talk face to face to people. Even if it's even better on Zoom. Look at people. Or what's the other one? FaceTime. Right. So you can see the micro expressions of a person. You see this connecting, getting together, you know, this whole 6 feet apart and the whole division. You know, the old world came to an end during the pandemic. That was the big shift. They changed everything. They changed the position of the sun and the moon. Everything changed because they were able to get your attention to be focused on fear. What, Don, why was it 6 feet apart? Why did we have to be 6 feet apart? Because people who are closer than 6 feet, when you get in somebody's physical field, the communication becomes nonverbal when you get close.
Right.
You see, 6 feet apart is when, you know, we start dividing ourselves and we in no way, because, you know, the 6 degrees of separation, they say, actually it's down to like 3 now. Right. Between us and everybody. So it was about getting people to be afraid of each other, masked up. You've seen these people in their cars with a whole oxygen tent on their heads, driving in their car by themselves with the windows up. They're afraid of, when you're afraid of your own breath, that's deep. Yeah. Because a lot of folks have bad breath. It's not good.
Well, and what was the other part of what was emitted completely was a universal language of fear. Everyone was afraid. There was so much fear. Well, should I touch my mail? Can I do this? Is it on the doorknobs? Everything is everywhere, but we are everything. And so being able to be and live in a space where we are committed to realizing that the only fear you have is fear itself. And so if you release the ability to be in fear, which is false evidence appearing real, why take on false evidence that appears real? That is brainwashing, and it does happen. It has happened, and it will continue to happen as long as you allow yourself to be disempowered. We empower ourselves by standing in our beliefs and having faith in the fact that we are all knowing. If you follow your gut, just stop and breathe and ask yourself, how do I really feel about that? And allow your true feeling to resonate from within. You will know exactly what to do next. I have had some of my most amazing realities set in by just sitting and breathing and asking what to do next. It always comes to you. We usually talk ourselves out of it because it became so simple that it must be too good to be true. No, it's exactly as good as it should be, coming from you, that amazingly powerful source. Sit in your power.
Too good to be true.
Allow yourself to be exactly as powerful as you were created to be. You're ever powerful. We have an omnipresence in ourselves that we turn off because we were told in the process of indoctrination that we needed to turn it off. We were taught to dim our lights. I had a consultation with a woman this morning who is a bright light inherently, but who has forever been taught to dim her light, not for herself, but for the comfort of those that walk into her presence, into her field, and cannot contend with the brightness of that which comes from within her. Stand in your light, queen, is what I told her. Stand in your power. It's okay if they're uncomfortable with your light. You came here to deliver something that is beyond what they can imagine, right? Because the imagination, I am a genie. I am a genie nation. Imagination. You are a nation of genies all within yourself. Stand in your power. My mother named me Dawn. I am the first light. I am up at 4:30 in the morning because for whatever reason, Barbara named me Dawn, and I think that I'm supposed to be up at dawn. I am supposed to be up at dawn. That is the most wonderful time of day to create.
That's when you do your money moves, right? Your 3 money
I
moves.
do my 3 money moves between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. Because at 7 a.m., it's 10 a.m. in New York. So on whatever coast you're in, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., I make those 3 money moves, which turn into an income stream.
An income.
An income stream. I call it into existence. 3 money moves by 10 a.m. every single day that give me, well, I do it 5 days a week, that give me 15 opportunities to create another income stream in my reality. And it comes to fruition.
Yeah. It's deep.
It's a peaceful time of day. Dawn is the most amazing part of the day. It's when you see the light come into being. I had a client, and he used to call me First Light, and I was like, I have these wonderful people in my life that give me all these things. Or, Do Ink came from a friend because I get shit done, and then I have this other person that called me First Light, and it was because my name it means the first light of day. All of these amazing things. What does your name mean? What is the meaning of your name? And if someone tells you a meaning of your name and it is not agreeable with you, you give yourself the meaning of your name. You say what your name means. Because what it means to you is what it means. I'm just on one today. This is evidence of a drum being in my bedroom in my presence.
Wow. Right now, we're doing a special sale over at Elevation. If you would like to receive a discount on everything over $99 or more in your cart, put LP, which is Linguistic Parasites, 3, LP3 at elevationtime.com. You will receive 20% off, or 15. Gotta be careful. Cancel, cut, delete, and clear. 15% off of everything in your cart over $99 or more, and up until Sunday at midnight. And also there are many sales throughout the website. Even the drum right now is actually on sale, and you'll receive the discount if you use this code if you'd like a drum. So yes, that is happening right now at elevationtime.com. If you're new to us, I'd like to talk a little bit about Blue Lotus, because we've talked about this before, but let's get into Blue Lotus a little bit, how it ties into language, how it ties into frequency, drum, truth, and the pineal, because the pineal is not the third eye. It is the first eye to develop in utero. Where did this third eye concept come from? It's because we sometimes, we give more energy to what we can call physical, where this pineal it exists somewhere in between this realm and several other dimensions. It helps us see in frequencies rather than in just waves of light. So Blue Lotus is a plant that is it's a plant that is very mysterious, and they're also from a family of plants called water lilies. And what Blue Lotus does is it's a beautiful flower. Look at it. Look at the vibration. Look at the frequency of it. Look at the color. So that color tells you it's going to have to do with the throat chakra, the pineal chakra, and the crown chakra. The coloring, the vibration, the petals, the way they move, the sacred geometry. But this beautiful flower, when it's on top of the water, all the animals and insects come because it has a very amazing metaphysical nectar. The pollen is sacred. The pollen from this plant is sacred. So only certain bees and certain insects are even going to go to it, because there's a bee that makes a honey, and this honey is considered a psychedelic honey. This psychedelic honey, check it out. When you eat it, it vibrates what we call the DMT inside you, so that you start having these out-of-body experiences. You start traveling the universe, like something like what people do when they take mushrooms, what they call magic mushrooms, ayahuasca. And we got Bufo, the frog. There's all these different things, but Blue Lotus is one of the oldest documented use of a plant that actually takes you into these other realms. So at night, when the sun goes down, the flower closes up and goes down into the mud, and it's in the mud all night long. And in the day, as soon as the sunlight hits that water, it opens up, it comes up to the top of the water, it opens up, and it's a very beautiful, attractive, magnetic plant. But it has the symbols and the energy of being reborn each night. Each time when we go to sleep, we're actually leaving this world, leaving this life, and going into another world or other worlds. And each day when we awake, we called it mourning, because we were mourning the old us that died off last night. We're brand new each day. Blue Lotus has a lot to do with new life and transmutation and resurrection. Real quick, Blue Lotus, Nymphia caerulea, is a water lily used in traditional medicine for relaxation, anxiety relief, and a natural aphrodisiac. Aphrodisiacs are plants that help you love yourself more, so that when you're with others, you can give more. That's what an aphrodisiac is, a true aphrodisiac. It's a mild, psychoactive, and soothing. Its mild, active, psychoactive, and soothing effects are generally attributed to two main compounds: amph, am, am, ap, apomorphine and nuciferine. Yeah, my words sometimes get a little jumbled, and it's challenging because I'm working with my what they called cancel, cut, delete, and care, what they call dyslexia, and I've been working on that a lot lately. So give me a little space when I'm reading. A mystical herb historically revered for by ancient Egyptians and Mayans for its ability to soften mental chatter and soothe the nervous system, and its active compounds gently shift brain wave states, making it a powerful tool for deepening spiritual practices. Traditionally used to quiet daily anxieties, it gently boosts mood, stimulates the imagination and creativity. Its psychoactive compounds are believed to promote vivid dreaming, unlocking creativity and enhance introspective meditative states. This is one of the main parts of the product that we call platinum. How many of you have tried our Platinum Life Elixir product?
My favorite.
How many of you have tried the Platinum Life Elixir? Platinum is probably it's our second most popular product on the website. It is a monatomic elixir, which means that it has these elements in it that are monoatomic, which means that the particles exist in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions at one time. So it's gold, platinum, palladium, copper, and what's the other one? Anyway, there's one more. These particular metaels, and metaels is a whole thing. We have to teach on that one day. How these monatomic metals help to focus your brain, your mind, and your first eye on what it is you desire. It also has these plants that help to do that also. So this plant helps to help you focus on who you truly are. It helps to do transmutation. It helps you go through dream time and come out with something. Come back with something, information or pieces of information that you can use to piece your life together. So this is a product that we co-created at one point with Dick Gregory. That's why it's also called the Gregory Reserve, to help Gregory with growing young, because it also has ingredients in it to help you stay young. It also helps to detoxify heavy metals from the brain, heavy metals from your body. So this is a favorite, and I know Dawn really loves this when she talks about it a lot. But just know that if you've had it in the past, there's a new version of it now that has triple the amount of blue lotus. Triple the amount of blue lotus. So it helps folks really, really get focused at this particular time. And I make products and create them for the time we're in. The summer of this particular season that they call, 2027, 2026 is a time of getting focused so we can become who we're becoming. Dawn, you want to speak on this at all?
Well, the platinum, the new platinum with the expanded amount of blue lotus is so powerful that when I was teaching the masterclass, I opted not to take it because it truly takes you on a journey. And so, as someone was saying in the chat about enhanced meditation, the enhanced Platinum Life Elixir with the additional blue lotus takes your meditative experience on an excursion. That's what I'll say. You will journey into places that are so far beyond where you would go just naturally. I plant medicine journeys and all of the rest of that, as you talk about experiencing whether you're microdosing with different mushrooms or you're experiencing different cactus plants. Blue lotus goes beyond that. And so I like to mix platinum, passion, and focus, because when I'm writing, it takes my natural written ability and puts it on 1,000. And so, as I say, I embody things. The Blue Lotus enables you to grasp your natural abilities and set them free without inhibition. That's how I would describe it. Blue Lotus removes the inhibition that would naturally set in. When you combine that with focus and passion, boom, absolute fire. It's, yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily create what you call a high. Like, folks feel high when they're on something. It's not like that. It's just enhancing what you already have inside. That what we call the pineal gland, when you put pressure on it, right? Or by vibrating or sending frequencies to the cerebral spinal fluid, it puts pressure on that particular eye. That eye is created, it's a piezoelectric crystal. Piezo means that if you put pressure on a certain crystal and it puts out energy, it emits. So your pineal gland is a crystal. It is a calcite crystal. So it is calcified until you put pressure on it. But when you put pressure on it, it emits energy and light. So it's for folks who would like to stay more focused, be more of themselves. Also, like we say, it's helping with your telomeres. And we're going to have a whole talk about telomeres soon. There's a section in the book about the telomeres and what they do. But they are the antennas that send information from cell to cell, from gene to gene, so that we can actually communicate with ourselves. So when we talk about linguistics and language, you're communicating with yourself every time you speak. So you'll find yourself speaking more of a sacred language, being more succinct with your words, or more focused with your words, or more pure by using the platinum. And if you do what Dawn is doing with the focus, the product focus really helps your mind focus. It helps you.
Philly Cat said that she opened a new bottle of Focus and she tasted the difference. It was a little more peppery. Have we enhanced Focus?
Yes, Focus is all the products are different every season. Every product that Doctah B creates is different. It's based on the season. We're tuning it to the frequency of the season. You see, one of the main things in Focus is a product called Brahmi. Have you heard of Brahmi? Brahmi is from India. Brahmi, named after Brahman, which is a god, but Brahman really helps your temple, right? Put the electrical impulse and the focus on your brain temple so that you can stay clear, because there's so much mass distraction out there. So our perception gets off based on, these frequencies, and this helps you stay focused on learning or obtaining what you've learned each day, because each day is a lesson and each day has a message in it.
So when you combine focus and passion with Platinum Life, your experience is, one, you're focusing, two, it's opening the pineal gland, and three, it's tapping into that sensual awareness. And the three combined together put me in a beyond a euphoric place where my creativity is open and I become creative on levels that are hard to explain. And it's all wide open and very flowy. And in the space of where I am with writing and being creative is one thing. But if you are in a space with your partner or a desired partner or whatever, and you have that combination, someone needs to be ready. They need to be ready. You need to be ready, because what happens is beyond magical. These herbs are intentional. And so I intentionally create no matter where I am. And so we could go into sacred sexuality and talk about what you're creating there as a conscious co-creator, or we can just say when you're writing, when you're working, when you're creating, if you're creating music, if you're creating food, if you're creating words, whatever it is that you're creating, it will be enhanced in a most beautiful way with that combination.
The way that I learned to formulate is based on the concept of 369. Those odd numbers, these odd numbers are the God numbers. When we in 3, 6, and 9 are very, very special when you understand that frequency and when you understand the concept of odd numbers also. So there's a study of science that has to do with the frequency of numbers, but also what we're doing is not herbalism, it's metaphysical herbalism. And we're creating tonics and elixirs. Elixirs are different than your regular herbal, tincture or your herbal supplement. You see, so when we are creating this in the lab, we're not just using herbs. We're using, what they call the monatomic elements. We're using water that's from copper, and also the water is high in silica. We use very special water. And we're putting musical frequencies into each bottle. We're also putting light. We put this quantum light frequency through everything that we create. And then there's devices that we have in the laboratory itself that creates almost a bubble, so that because the average bottle of product that you buy, it is infected, check it out, by the frequencies of the atmosphere.
Mhm.
The frequencies of the atmosphere are, and you could go to a health food store and buy the best herb you could think of, but how it's created, how it's formulated, how it's picked, how it travels has a lot to do with the effectivity of it. So it may have been great when it was on the tree, but now it's gone through all these different processes, all these shifts, all these phases, and it may not have the same frequency as it did as a plant on the bush or on the tree. So we are doing these things to create elixirs. That's the difference. What's the difference, Dr. B? We're creating elixirs, and elixirs are much more than just an herbal, tonic. And we have a way to bring the energy back even after it's picked from the tree. Because once you pick something from the plant, within 6 hours, the energy drops up to 50%. Up to 50%. And there is a process that I'll be teaching in the herbalism classes to actually bring the balance and the prana or the chi force or the chi, the chi force back into the product and take it even further than it was when it was on the plant, on the bush, by combining it with other elements. And that's what we're doing.
One of the questions in the chat is, do I take my cocktail blend? my cocktail blend. I love that. Do I take my blend? They received their Focus, Passion, and Platinum Life yesterday. And do I take it in the morning or the evening? I don't have a particular specific time of day that I do take it. I like to take it in the morning when I don't know that I would recommend taking it in the evening, because when I take it, I'm not going to sleep. And so if you're planning on going to sleep in the evening, I wouldn't take it in the evening. I take it morning, I take it midday. And there are times when I take it in the evening, but that's when I want to do some deep meditation and I want to go into a different place. But I would say first time you take it morning, early day, so you can see how your body responds to the magic within, so that you can then know, this is how my body responds to this elixir blend, and this is when I should take it, because everyone's gonna respond differently. For me, it's absolute magic, and I know what I'm going to get when I'm taking it. The other thing that you just had up there, Dr. B, was the iron essentials. You don't even realize what your body is missing until you take the iron essential, and that the iron and the copper that's in the iron and the energy that, now I will take iron just for energy. I can be feeling some kind of way and I will take my iron essentials, and it's immediate for me. It kicks in and I feel my body's just like, whoo, I needed that. That's like a burst of energy that hits when I take the iron essentials. It is it's so powerful. And Dr. B, I saw you put X Factor up, and I will tell you that in this thing, that everything that's been going on with the sun, I have had my body dip, and not yesterday, the day before, I felt as though a cold was coming on. And so I started taking X Factor some other supplements, but some other elixirs. I don't even remember how I mix it. Sometimes I mix things that I don't remember how I mix them. But X Factor was definitely on the top of my list, because I wasn't sure what was making me feel the way I was feeling. But X Factor, and I took X Factor, vitamin C, and the vitamin C tonic and something else. I don't know. But the next day I was absolutely 100% back to being exactly who I am. I was back to Dawn at 100%. And so those things, those blends, those combinations, they make all the difference in the world. Dr. B, you can...
So X Factor helps to disorganize and weaken viral activity at the deepest cellular levels, helps to detoxify and purify the body for a total energetic reset. It greatly enhances the immune strength and resilience, supports a healthy balance when the body faces abnormal cellular growth challenges, which they could now call cancer. Abnormal cellular growth is cancer. So this originally was part of a cancer protocol we put together many years ago, because cancer is an unknown thing, and we're attempting to get the body to, change its frequency and detoxify at the same time. So this is a very strong antiviral. It's going very deep. And for those who are just looking for something for a cold or flu or allergy symptoms, there's something called Sirius Defense.
Do we have it back on the shelf?
Yeah, we do. Sirius Defense. Oh, yeah. I forgot to announce that. Sirius Defense is finally back.
Yay!
I in no way will make products unless the sources that I get them from have been certified. During this whole thing with these tariffs, it's been really challenging to get some products because first of all, the price might be double, triple, or even more. And then a lot of times the products were stuck on boats and they couldn't get here. So when you see a product like right now, what's the one that we've been waiting for almost 6 months now? I can't even think of the name of it now.
Essential Balance. Sirius Defense was out. Essential Balance.
Yeah. We're still awaiting the shipment because we could, a lot of companies they just substitute. We in no way will substitute. We're always going to use the highest vibration, the best sources. And just because the product says that, you read that olive leaf does something, right? It's supposed to be good for, colds, flus. It's the very first antibiotic known in this particular hemisphere, because we had other ones in other hemispheres. But olive leaf grows everywhere. The nuns planted it everywhere, but it doesn't have the same energy unless it's from North Africa. It's got to be grown on the desert. It's got to go through stress. The plants that go through stress, the herbal plants, the medicinal plants that go through stress, they're always going to have a more healing, therapeutic, energetic field. Every time they got to go through stress. So just, substituting something like a lot of companies do, we won't do it. In no way will we get involved in just making products to make people feel good, make them happy. No, we're going deep. This is for the person who desires the best in life. That's what elevation is about. We're a boutique that only has products and services that are of a higher vibration, of a more exclusive energy field. You see? So if you don't have the book yet, get the book, because we talk about all these things in the book. And it's deep. Dawn, are you still there? I see you mouth moving, but I don't see you talking. I don't hear you.
Balance isn't back, but Sirius Defense is. And that's
Sirius Defense is back.
Sirius Defense is back.
Colds, flus, allergy. A lot of people are allergic to themselves or their family and friends. And if you've got dogs and animals and cats and birds, we may have an allergy to them that we don't even know we have. You see? So that helps with those things. That's Sirius Defense. X Factor, though, is when we need to go in deep. A lot of folks have viruses in their body, especially after, the pandemic, that are in the body, and they're just waiting for the body to go through some sort of weakness or challenge or stress.
For them to show
and that's
up,
when there's things called retroviruses that folks have had almost all their lives, and they pop up during stress. So X Factor
the X Factor is there, but the total body cleanse, that is what you need. Someone asked about giving a protocol to approach when detoxing. If you're detoxing, depending on what you're detoxing from, one, I think you should have a consultation, but two, the Elevated Total Body Program is the ultimate cleanse to reset your body. The elevated total, it's a systemic parasite eradication and detoxification at a cellular level. And it now helps eradicate physical, energetic, and non-physical parasites, toxoplasma, and superbugs, increased energy and vitality. It boosts the immune system, improves the digestion, clear thought process, peace of mind, enhance overall health and wellness. Let me tell you, when I did the cleanse, it had to be 2 months ago. My eyesight got better. Oh my goodness! Because it cleanses all areas of your body. It's when you say total body cleanse, it has individual elixirs that target each area of your body, and there is a formula that comes in your cleanse. When you order it, it asks if you're male or female, because there's a different elixir for men and for women that's included in your total body cleanse. It will shift and change your life. And so as someone's putting their mucus, it doesn't just focus on mucus. It cleanses your blood. It cleanses your liver. It gets rid of parasites. There's an elixir in there that helps with rest, so that when your body is resting, it completely works. It is the total body cleanse, and the elevated total body cleanse has the mushroom tonic in there. I mean, Dr. B, I don't think I'm doing justice in describing what is in it. My gift is describing how your body responds to it. Dr. B tells you what's in it. I just know what it does from experience.
So the total body is a systemic program. Systemic parasites are different than your regular parasites. Your average parasites can be taken care of with things like pumpkin seeds and pomegranate seeds and, diatomaceous earth. There's a lot of things out there that folks use for what you call your average parasite. We're dealing with the superbug parasites with the elevated total body program. The total body program are dealing with what are considered systemic parasites throughout the system, but not the superbugs. Okay. Superbugs are they're very intelligent. In fact, a lot of them are not intelligent. They're created by man. They got loose from laboratories and things like that. A lot of things were created by man, and other things were created from us connecting with animals. And there's zoonotic parasites that cross from animals into humans. In fact, most of them that we have today are those. So the gut parasites, those are easy. And there's a lot of products on the market that are not pricey, that deal with what you call the regular worms. And you'll see those things being advertised. What this is dealing with systemic parasites that live throughout the system. The total body is one of the best systemic parasite cleanses on the product on the market. It also enhances the energy of every organ. Then there's the elevated total body program, which has the mushroom tonic, because mushrooms are intelligent. There are 12 sacred mushrooms, and these are not the ones that get you high. These are medicinal mushrooms that are looking for DNA that's not yours. And also you get the vitamin C tonic. And the vitamin C is one of the things that our body can't make. So that is our number one product, our number one selling product all over the world, is that elevated total body program, because it deals with everything. And I want to say something really quickly. I want to read you something about Toxoplasma. And it's one of the reasons why people choose the elevated. Toxoplasma gondii is a microscopic parasite known for altering behavior. It reprograms the brain of its host, dulling fear and heightening risky impulses. In animals, it makes prey approach predators. It makes the prey approach predators. How many of y'all are approaching and inviting and sleeping with or agreeing with or voting for predators? That's a whole nother subject. In humans, it's linked to impulsivity, addiction, and subtle forms of self-sabotage. Like all survivalists, it hides it behind a biofilm, a shiny shield that protects it from the detection and elimination. Inside that coating, the biofilm coating, it thrives silently, much like our mental parasites, which protect themselves with emotional biofilms. Denial, distraction, justification, self-harm, toxic relationships, and repeated sabotage are often the psychological symptoms of an energetic infection in the mind under foreign influence. Toxoplasma is the brain or the mind control parasite. The only thing we have seen ever that deals with this is this particular program that we've created. That's the elevated total body program, helps to deal with that. If you find that you're not in control of your thoughts, your words, you just do things, you mate with people and hook up with people and say yes to things where you should be saying no. How many of you are saying yes when you really should be saying no? How many of you are saying no when you might need to be saying yes? That elevated total body program begins to reprogram by shutting down the receptors on this parasite called Toxoplasma. And that's a whole class within itself, Toxoplasma, which controls the minds of 70% of the people on the planet right now. And that's why we're so fear-based, and we look at what the problems are, and we want to just talk about each other and point the finger and be angry, and worry and sadness and all those things are huge because of this Toxoplasma parasite. And it's not just in cats like it used to be, it's in everything. So the elevated total body program is the one that deals with Toxoplasma and the superbugs. And the total body is for the average, person that just wants to do a really good cleanse and detoxification, along with rejuvenation. And really quickly, the difference between our programs and most is that ours focuses on rejuvenating the system too. This thing about cleansing and stripping the body, there's people that are chronic, cleansers. They're always on a cleanse. You're stripping your body. And when you start stripping the energetic field, when you start, stripping the average cleanse, check it out, destroys the microbiome. That's the friendly bacteria, which is why a lot of folks don't have a gut feeling anymore, because they've destroyed the natural functioning of those probiotics in the gut. Our products help to rebuild the gut and the microbiome and help you stay in connection with yourself. But everything is on sale right now. Well, not almost everything is on sale at the elevationtime.com website. You'll get 15% off if you use the code LP3 when you check out, and that's your discount code, which is good until Sunday. Make sure you go to the Elevation Time website and get on the email list so you can get messages from us about what's coming up. We've got a couple amazing things that are coming up soon. And if you're not on the email list, some of the things you won't hear about, because we're creating a whole private situation where if you're not a part of this particular group, you may not know. So join at elevationtime.com.
Don't miss out. There's a lot of excitement coming. We had a wonderful, wonderful time in the Mind Your Business. Mind Your Body might be the next one, Dr. B.
I like that. That's tight. Mind Your Body. Write that down.
Mind Your Body. Mind Your Business Your Mind class. We will be, we have some exclusive time where the participants have access to the class. We will be making it available to general in just a little while, but we did have an amazing experience. We will be doing something very soon in the near future, before fall, in Atlanta live. And so that's coming. Mind Your Business was amazing, and Mind Your Business Your Mind was amazing. So we will be doing it live and in person in Atlanta before fall. And so get on the list now at elevationtime.com so that you will be made aware when we are doing it in person. We want to thank you for being here. Order your drum. All I can say is I will continue to share my experiences with my drum, but that drum is everything. Everyone should be cleansing. Get your X Factor and your Sirius defense, because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And if you want to learn all about it and how it works together, what's eating you, have your book, your drum, and your herbs. Total body, mind, body, and soul. It's a whole life experience. I like that. It's a whole life experience.
A whole life experience. That's it. Write that down, Don. The whole life experience.
It's a whole life experience.
Dawn and I both are doing consultations. I've had some amazing clients this past week. I'm meeting a whole new group of people who are really, really ready and able to shift. And if you're in the Atlanta area and you'd like to, or wherever we're going to be, and you'd like to get a session with the drum, there are drum sessions that I'm now doing where we can help to transform you all the way to the root, all right down to your mitochondria with the drum. So that's something that you can ask for. If you're looking for anything to do with rebalancing your subconscious, retraining your words, your language, or anything about nutrition, you can call me. And Dawn, tell them what you do. Tell them what you do, Dawn.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to one of the ladies this morning and I said, I don't know if you guys really know what I do. And she said, well, you write grants. And I said, well, I am a business development consultant and I specialize in funding acquisition. It doesn't matter your business. I've literally raised over $400 million for nonprofit organizations around the country, but I haven't necessarily quantified the millions of dollars that I've brought into businesses just in general across the country. And so I am a money magnet and I bring funding to whatever I touch. I think, 20 years ago, Doctah B and I created a mantra and it literally said, everything that I touch turns to gold. And that's been happening ever since. And so I am a business development consultant, but I am also a clinical hypnotherapist. So when I work with you, we look at what are the things that are getting in your way. And I'm a Reiki master teacher. So if you want to be attuned for Reiki, I can do that too. And so that's just a snippet about me. And what I did realize, Doctah B, is in the handbook, we did not put our bios. And so we will need to look at how we're doing that as well. And so, I hear you say we're in a time of wealth reversal. I'm more focused on income than reversing anything. I don't know about wealth reversal. I do know about creating multiple income streams and making the creation of that endless, where you have a complete continual supply of income streams coming your way from the left, the right, the east, the west, the north, and the south. You can call it into existence, bring it into your field, and make it so that it is continuous and abundant.
So, Dawn, this has been another beautiful day of. I learn every time I hear you talk, Dawn. You make me think about things. I remember the day I met you, and I was me and my partner were trying to buy some raggedy car. We were at a Mercedes dealer trying to buy a Ford or something. And you walked up and said, hey, well, you guys, what are you looking at? We're looking at this raggedy Ford here that's all shined up. And you were like, well, you're at a Mercedes dealer. Why are you trying to buy that? We thought about it. Yeah, So we ended up, looking at Mercedes, and which was, the budget was high. And she said, well, the budget is not high if you have a corporation. In fact, you could get 2 cars for the price of one. You could get a fleet. And I'll never forget that. That's how we met. And you and my partner ended up being partners, super partners, and created a wonderful child together. And it's been a magical. Both of you and Tracy have actually helped me a lot. And I'm thankful for that and all that you do. Please get a session with Dawn. If you're looking at that business thing and you want to crack that code, Dawn is the business code cracker. Write that down.
Someone put in there, Sirius Dawn.
Sirius Dawn. And like I said, if you'd like to get a phone session or a Zoom session with Doctah B, I'm open to that again. And also in-person sessions. If you'd like an in-person session and you're dealing with some deep stuff, let us know. And Dawn, we got some really powerful things coming. So we're going to go so we can go and plan those. Oh, and folks were asking, when are they going to get their workbooks for the ones?
They're going to get those workbooks. They're going out today. They're going out today. We had 1 or 2 edits, and now we're sending those out with the links. Everything's going out today.
Okay, wonderful. And another question someone had was, can they still take the class, get the replay, and join the replay of the class? Can they purchase that possibly?
We're looking at making that available for them to purchase the replay. It is coming. Beautiful. It is coming because we have it now set for the attendees, and we are looking at making it available. It is coming.
If you're interested in being a part of something we're developing, which has to do with sacred sexuality and how to be intimate and turn that into finances, let us know. You can send us a message. You can go to elevationtime.com. Dawn, you want to put up your...
It's Dawn at elevationtime.com. I can put it up, but it's Dawn at elevationtime.com.
Okay. So sacred sexuality is a whole thing we're going to be talking about, how to make love out of the things that are not love in your life. And one last thing I'm going to show and share. I talked about those devices that help with radiation. The company is improveyourlife.us. Improveyourlife.us. You have to say that Doctah B sent you. It is a private company. They don't sell things publicly. And you go there. The website looks very old. It looks like it's whack, but it's very powerful. It's actually a way that they secure themselves from the gov.gov.
That's how they secure themselves, period.
It's secure. And being secure is a powerful thing.
Right.
Secure yourself. Become you. The song you're listening to, once again, is You. How to become yourself, voice yourself into the world, be yourself. It's time to elevate our lives. And it starts with your words. It looks like we're going to have to do part 4, Dawn, because we still got some more we got to handle in this chapter. So next week, can we do part 4 from the book? Oh, you're going to be gone. When are you in Aruba?
I'm still here next week, but I'll be in Napa next week at Dave Cause Jazz Festival.
You're gonna be drinking wine up in Napa Valley
with Dave Cause? Yes, I am.
Maybe you can get Dave Cause to come on the show. You know what I'm saying?
I have decided to live my best life. So next week I'll be in Napa, and then the following week I will be in Aruba. I may be able to chime in from Aruba, but I know I'll be flying into Napa in the morning. So next week I will not be here. But we can continue. Maybe we'll have Dr. Mahdi continue that chapter.
So we'll see. We'll see how it flows. Or either that, I might have to fly the ship myself. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
But I go off on tangents. So be ready for the tangent if Dr. B is here.
Because Dawn is going to be living her best life in Napa and Aruba. Life is lovely.
Dawn is here to help me, stay focused so I don't go off on those tangents. But sometimes tangents are good. So maybe next week will be off the tangent week. Dr. B.
Dr. B's, you know what? That's a thing.
Yeah.
Free flying Dr. B.
Thank you very much, Dawn. And I'd like to thank all of you. We'd like to thank all of you for this wonderful time together. Go back and get the replay of all of our classes and talks that we've been doing. And our highest choice is that you get something that you can use. And stay focused on who you are. Be a little selfish or more self-caring first before you run off and try to help everybody else. Help yourself. Give yourself. Eat the best foods you can. Drink the best water. Make the best love. Treat yourself well. Give yourself a gift. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Dawn. You enjoy the beaches and the wines because you got the cause. You can check out, get it? Dave Cause, the cause.
Right. I intend to travel light.
Thank you very much, y'all. Much love. We'll see you soon. Don't forget, go join the email list so that you can hear about what's coming up. We've got some real surprises coming your way. Thank you much. This is the song You from the Medicine Music Collective Project at elevationtime.com. It also is part of a soundtrack for the book. See you again soon. Much love.